and welcome to episode 16 of Great Scott Marcus here on Ramble Entertainment. I'm Scott, and that one's Mark, and here on Great Scott Marcus, we basically ramble for a bit over a few topics, then we get hyped over the things we're hyped for in Hype Train, and then we have a main topic where we get a bit more in-depth about what we want to talk about. It's just a show where we have conversations, not really meant to get to any kind of grand point, but two friends just getting together and talking for funsies. So,
hopefully have some interesting chit-chat and dialogue, and for others
absolutely
too.
Not. We're morons. So, Mark, how you doing? I
didn't say intellectual.
Mark, how you doing?
Oh, not bad. Not too bad. Just enjoying the 3-day weekend. Yay, Labor Day.
I hate to admit that, it's just another day for me. Feels like a Sunday, but it
does feel like a Sunday, I'll give you that.
Yeah. That's just the nature of the situation I'm in.
Sure.
So, shall we?
Yes, let's be free.
Thank you for asking me how I'm doing, you asshole.
How are you doing?
No! We're talking about YouTube advertising now. I'm okay.
I'm
okay. So, there's a bit of a kerfuffle over YouTube advertising right now. For us, this doesn't affect us in two ways. One, we have already talked about how we hate ads. We both use ad block knowingly of what we're doing, and it's a choice because ads are poorly done, too invasive,
annoying overall.
Can
really
create malware on your computer, and these are just things that are of poor design and of a poor structure, and that is kind of our side to this. Now, my side, as the person who runs the channel more, and I've also redone the state of the frame graphics so that
nice.
More of the screen real estate is used, because here, I used a format like this where there's two of us, but obviously there aren't two of us on Save the Frame like it originally was going to be. So I redid the graphics for that. I did graphics for another Warframe, either segment to Save the Frame or kind of its own show. And I'll probably be getting to that within the next couple of weeks, getting back into those recordings, and I'm happy about that. It's Ramble Entertainment. I'm rambling. Whatever.
Okay.
So I'm happy about that. The issue with not being able to do that show was really caused by 0 frames per second, some kind of discrepancy between Reed transmitting to me and my side of the content, where the audio kept desyncing from the video. So, yeah. Anyway, so I'm happy to be getting back to that, but there was always this thought of, yes, we have made clear that we don't like ads. But will there come a point where maybe I just have to try taking on some ads to start generating some revenue to, maybe make this a thing? And I think this kind of makes it clearer to myself that shouldn't happen. So a lot of this topic comes from me because I do peruse YouTube a lot more. Okay, you blinked. Good. I was just you frozen.
Nope, not frozen. Just listening.
I kind of pranked you earlier with that, so that might have been a bit of retribution.
Actually, it wasn't necessarily I was just listening to and see where this is going to go, and
a lot of YouTubers use ad revenue. Google and YouTube have allowed this up to this point, and I say allowed because, to be frank, their ad criteria has been this way for some time. My eye is a bit red. Well, that's really red.
What did you do?
I punched myself in the eye. I don't know.
That'll happen.
It's been a bit irritated, so I'll put some drops in soon, maybe between segments. So the kind of shock and awe about this, and I guess you could say drama towards this, is a bit overdone. And, you know, one of the real issues with YouTube is its drama. Topics come and go and get very dramatized. Even though it wasn't technically drama, it was actual events and fraud. CSGO, I guess you could say, got really dramatized. But this could basically be YouTube and Google kind of cracking down on people getting too many views from things that are just kind of dramatic and really shouldn't be emphasized. However, this is also affecting those that are talking about sharing their experience and talking about things like depression and thoughts of suicide and how that's been handled and handled well. And and topics such as war and current events, and I think I texted you about the one, Sonic Adventures is actually a good game. Like, that kind of stuff is, while in YouTube's power, a bit, I want to say facetious, because those are the exact things that other websites get advertisements for. Those are the exact things that other videos get in-video advertisements for, where somebody picks up and does a read, where it's just, they pick up a piece of paper and, this is sponsored by such and such, and you should go to such and such for such and such and such and such. And then they'll do their video, and they'll, you know, curse a dozen times, and that's another thing that YouTube is cracking down on, is cursing, and it's just like,
I think there's a lot going on here.
Jim Sterling and Total Biscuit, two of the most prominent, especially video game YouTubers, kind of almost shirked this a bit, and I think with good point, by saying that this is a lot like fair use, when YouTube really started cracking down on fair use, and then everybody spoke up, and then Google dealt with it and made it better. And before you get to your points, because I felt like those were pertinent points, it's still important to talk about this and be a bit pissed off about this, because if people hadn't talked about fair use and really brought it up and emphasized it, would fair use not be so as good as it is now, as good as it probably should be as it is now? Please.
I'm kind of confused what exactly is going on. I'll be completely honest with you. I mean, from what I'm aware of YouTube and advertising, is I find a video 7 times out of 10, the advertising around it is completely irrelevant.
Well, AdBlock typically catches those.
Right. I mean, as far as advertising goes, and YouTube and whatever, it's going to be everywhere, always, it seems like, because people want to make money, whether it's the advertisers or the person that is working with the advertisers. I mean, who's to say that, you know, down the road, if it's super successful, we're going to have
there's two different sides to this. Like, those who actually do the in video reads, those are people who have talked directly to their advertisers. Google placing ads on the video is just blank ads that can likely
that Google
fit
places.
So this has nothing to do with the in-video ads, the ads directly tied to each channel. This is the blanket ads that you would almost see on a website, in in an advertisement on top or on the side or something.
So are people getting pissed off about those?
Yes, because basically that is ad revenue.
That probably doesn't benefit the YouTuber itself.
It does.
It does.
Yes, there would be no reason to be in such a huff about this unless it actually benefited the YouTubers.
Okay.
So basically, Google is removing some ads, the ads that Google places, from a great many videos.
Okay.
This isn't... So I brought up drama videos. This isn't all just, videos that are kind of like, really, you're making money off that? People who are, basically deserve the popularity. Boogie, for example, being one of a very popular YouTuber who, just does kind of conversational pieces where he's just like, so there's this thing going on, like CSGO, and he'll just kind of try to be objective about it, or, give his opinion about it, and he'll be very clear about how, he's approaching it. And it's just like, there are things that he does, a lot of things that are worth talking about. Depression, his issues with obesity, and trying to work through that. How Pokemon Go has helped him to lose an immense amount of weight. Like, these things are helpful. And I think there's going to be kind of a courting period with this where this thing... I think... this is exactly why ads suck. Because they want to be the ones with the power and almost dictate what people are kind of doing, like broadcasting, and it's just like, that's not okay, and that's why I don't like ads, and like that's
any
why
advertising, or
and that's also why you see these channels that are breaking out going towards subscriptions like Patreon and doing in-video reads with ads and sponsorships. That they're kind of the real successes within this, and so like I didn't want to get to my conclusive points on this yet, but it's kind of perfect timing. Like, I think that this, while harmful, can also be helpful, where it will drive some of the shittier channels away. Channels that literally poke fun at others. Just, they might find our content sometime and try to make fun of us. I wouldn't give a shit. If that's literally what you do with your time, then fuck off. I'm not going to give you any attention.
Something better to do with your time.
Exactly. But some of those channels have like millions upon millions of subscribers. This might be in an effort to also get rid of them, because
no one's going to want to advertise on their channel.
Yeah, because they're literally shitty bullies, and it's just like, okay. There's that. And, like, this might also help really hold up a lot of channels. Day 9 probably would have no issue with this. He'd be like, okay, well, I'm starting a Patreon, and since he has such a great and positive fan base, he'd have no issues. And, yeah.
Patreon is just where, like, subscribers or whoever can just pay X amount per month or whatever, and that money goes directly to the content creator, correct?
Say something. I got everything you said. Say another full sentence for me.
Now I gotta think of something to say. Oh wait, shit. Am I lagging a little bit?
Yeah.
Why?
I know. Oh well, that didn't lag. What the? Anyway.
Time Warner. It's lagging again.
Yeah. We'll end the Skype call. After this, and then we'll just kind of shove the two videos together. So, Patreon is basically a source for artists and creators to come to a single location and basically have their fans help them without having to rely on ads or other things. And a lot of times that really does help the artists to take off, whether they be YouTubers, Twitch streamers, or just literal artists who do paintings or photography, etc., at all. And the other side to this is if it persists, if this somehow lasts for, let's say, a year, if Google and YouTube can't see this for some reason, then Amazon's just going to come out and kick their teeth in. Oh my gosh, yeah, that's a ton of
It's really
lag.
bad right now.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Yeah, I know. So you're like seeing the frustration that I feel when I had to edit
You're not
videos.
lagging at all.
I know, yeah. I don't know.
Fucked up.
So, yeah, like,
Well, at least centered in.
it goes up and down. I don't know why. Anyway, so like there are two major video players right now, YouTube and Twitch, and Amazon owns Twitch now. And while YouTube is kind of way ahead of Twitch, it wouldn't take much for Amazon to just be like, here, have a couple $1 million.
Yeah.
Like, I just
YouTube.
Yeah. I mean, they'll remain competitors. I think Twitch would still remain a source of broadcasting as opposed to videos on demand. But if YouTube is kind of chasing off some of his content creators, I could see Amazon easily being like, no holds bar. Here's your ads. Have at it. I would still love to see some prevention of like these channels are shitty, and if that's how you are, this is our policy against being shitty and making fun of others. You can't have ads. I don't know, but it's a two-sided sword that I hate to say I'm happy about because it is adversely affecting some of my preferred YouTubers.
Sure.
Wow.
I'm really upset about this lag.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll see you guys in the 1.5 part of the Ramble. So we are back again in the first part of the Ramble. Mark had a bit of a desync issue. Seemed to be on Skype's end. Happens. Hopefully it doesn't happen again, because that was actually the issue that was happening with Reed. However, it was not happening visually within the recording. So let's go.
Mine was, so that was a good catch at least.
Yeah, definitely. So did you have anything else? I know that was a lot of
really.
me, but yeah,
No, I mean it's. I think I'm just gonna have a kind of a broader view on advertising. I just wish advertising was transparent. Like, my big pet peeve is pretending that it's not an advertisement, but it really fucking is. I don't see a whole lot of it on YouTube because I'm not, I don't follow a lot of YouTubers. I don't subscribe a whole lot, but Instagram is a big perpetrator of that, where people like, I just love my fit tea, and I'm sitting in the park, with my bag of tea, and it doesn't say ad or sponsor on it. It's just like, it's weird.
YouTube got really hard on, and that's actually illegal when you don't in the United States, at the very least, and YouTube is a United States corporation. When you're advertising something, you're kind of pushing something, and you're not saying this is sponsored by.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, it goes without saying that it most likely is, and this person's being paid for it. But it's just annoying for me. I could sit here and be like, I'm gonna go brush my teeth with my Crest toothpaste, but it's like, I'm not getting paid for it, and it's not like it's saving my life. I'm not taking pictures of it.
Crest is it just stands out so well above other
Yeah.
We are not paid by Crest. Crest, if you see this for some reason.
Well, and
we have nothing to do with you.
I listen to a lot of baseball games if I'm driving, back to Toledo or something like that. I listen to a game, and they do read in advertisements, and it's usually.
But you can tell.
Yeah, exactly. You can tell, and usually, oddly enough, they almost like they sponsor parts of whatever you're listening to. This is the wall-side windows pitching change. Like, it's just, that's who sponsors a pitching change. Every pitching change, they mention wall-side windows, but at this point, it was kind of, who cares at this point if it's grained in my head. But I mean, again, it's very transparent, and it's a read-in, and it's not like they're not trying to trick you or anything like that. And I don't know.
I mean, there are those out there who just don't get it, though, and they try to get away with that stuff, and we saw that with CS:GO. And it's because it's a new front. It's still a new frontier that it's just like these things are still happening, and it's just like we've understood how to advertise to human beings for like decades now. I think
it's just a new medium, and people think there's like since it's a new medium, there's all sorts of different rules and regulations. When really it shouldn't be. It should be as black and white as radio or TV advertising.
It should be. It is, and the FCC is starting to really crack down on this shit. And I hate to say that
the FCC is doing something good. Jesus.
I mean, we shouldn't ignore the good they've done. It's just that it's bureaucratic, and these things take time. And it's just like the internet is such a culture of like instant. And it's just like, and they can't stand the FCC because it takes time. But the FCC has and actually does continue to do a lot of good. And yeah, like I hate to say that I am eager for this, but I am. There is part of me that wants to see what happens with the CS:GO thing. That I hate.
Was that the guys that were like made their own?
They made their own video game gambling site, and
that's right. Yeah.
Totally marketed it like it was not theirs, and I really don't like to say that. I'm in earnest to see what happens, but it's going to be a shining example to be like, fucking stop. Like, so there is part of me that feels bad for those guys for being so dumb, because I'm sure both of us understand what it's like to be caught being stupid. We've never been so we've never been so stupid as to almost probably gain thousands, if not possibly millions of dollars from kids. But like,
it's hard to say that it's called stupidity, but it's just, I mean, are they really going to sit there and plead ignorance and be like, we didn't know? But
that's not, I mean, like, I hate to get too lost in the woods with them, but like, that I do think is part of the problem with becoming a big YouTube star when you're young. I'm sure part of them becoming big YouTube stars was their youth, because you know, YouTube reaches a younger audience much easier, and you know, seeing these young guys playing games professionally and having such skill, and you know, being able to play in such ways, and then being able to try and show that to others. That's fine, but then they're ignorant about the world because they were brought up in almost this kind of other world, so they feel like they can get away with this thing, and they don't, because now the real world catches up with them. So it is. I like I said, I don't want to go too deep into the woods on that. So this one, we actually were unable to do a recording, and then you had to go away for a weekend.
Yes.
And so this one was actually from about 2 weeks back. So this one's a lot on you, but this will be very interesting from our two different perspectives.
Yeah. Basically, a couple weekends ago, I went kayaking down Hocking Hills, and it was a joyous time. It's the first time I've been kayaking. I've been canoeing like when I was maybe 5 or so. That doesn't really count. You know, small group of friends of mine went down the Hocking River and just cabrewing, I think is the proper terminology, because we had a giant cooler full of beer and other alcohol and snacks, and it was a good time. But at first, you know, I was gonna be on a canoe, and I was like, well, I'll keep my phone on me, you know, take pictures and let my Snapchat and Instagram following see that, yes, I do go out in nature sometimes. And when I decided that I was going to get a kayak by myself, and I'd never been in a kayak, I was like, holy fuck, like, what if I, like, fall in and tip over, which I wouldn't put it past myself. Surprisingly, it didn't happen. I got in the water, yes, but I didn't tip over. I was like, I'm not going to have my phone on me, because I also, you know, don't have a cover on my phone. So I kept it in the car for about 4.5, 5 hours. And it was... At first, it was a little nerve-wracking. You know, we're like sitting down waiting for the bus, like to pick us up and drop us off at the point where we
that nervous
then go downstream.
To just pull it out and. check things.
Yeah, kind of. And, not even that, but also the idea that if I go somewhere or leave someplace, I'm always like, keys, wallet, phone.
Yeah.
I had none of that on me.
I do the 3 pat down as well.
Yeah, I think everybody does nowadays, and it was a little nerve-wracking at first. I'm like, God damn, like, it's kind of bothersome. I don't have these things on my person. But, then once we started actually going on River, it was very freeing just not to have to, refresh my Twitter feed, see what's going on in the sports world, or Snapchat everything that I'm doing to my friends or my stories. It was just a good feeling to just not have the internet on me for a period of time, just kind of be in the moment of, just being in nature, getting drunk, being with friends, and not, finding my phone as a tool to cure my boredom. But, in those cases where boredom happened, strike up interesting conversation that you originally wouldn't have thought of, or just kind of literally just laid back and kind of looked up and enjoyed the trees or got in the water and really kind of enjoyed that part of nature without having to take a picture of it, which we're so accustomed to nowadays.
Skype is still dicking with us. Yeah, you're breaking up only a tiny bit, but, it's noticeable. Anyway, so this is quite interesting because I actually... Sometimes, we make sure we broach topics before we talk about them, because sometimes, like one of us just completely misses a perspective. And, we really try to catch each other on that. You've caught me, I've caught you. And,
right.
This was one of those ones where I was just like, no, let's see where this goes, because I wasn't sure if it was going to be one of those of just like, man, how could, some people be so aloof? And I've also kind of become a bit more of an aloof person, because I am not out in public as much. I'm also very disconnected, whereas you are very connected. I am barely on social media. I, I kind of tweet to game developers that I like to ask questions and, tell them what I like, or, possibly see if there's a fix for something coming. I wasn't sure where you were going to go with that, but I am very disconnected, and I have come to... And it was something I almost had to force myself to grow into because of this lifestyle that was kind of forced upon me. But I love being disconnected. And I... so there's something that I might get to on our next recording that I'm not telling you, and I'm not telling anybody, that I'm not really sharing with many. There's something that might make me a bit more connected soon, but we'll see. I have come to enjoy this life. Living in Columbus, I really, really enjoyed the city life. I still prefer the city life. But I also love the peace that is out here in the sticks.
You can't get that here.
Yeah, and I might be able to kind of enjoy both in the near future. And again, something I'll talk about next week. But yeah, I just find that I want to remain disconnected. I logged into Facebook for one of the first times recently in almost probably a year and a half. It was to get a skin for a character in a game I've been playing with a friend, and I had 2 friend requests from people from back in college that I used to talk to very frequently, and I was just like, whatever. And then I was just like, no, they were my friends. I should accept their friend request even if it's very, very late. And I accepted it, and I was just like, should I post about what's going on in my life? And I'm just like, no, that's not
not necessary.
That's not who I am. And that would mean that I'm trying to connect, and I don't want to. I have no interest in connecting, and that doesn't mean that I don't know about current events or news. But I do feel a bit lost on maybe slang or like celebrities and all that bullshit and internet, some of the more popular internet celebrities maybe, and that's
or memes and all that nonsense.
Yeah. And that shit just doesn't matter because and I love this that you brought this up because I also don't have that nervous tick to check Twitter and check Facebook. And what I actually do with my device is actually almost more... I hate to call this more useful because you can actually garner useful things off of Twitter and Facebook. But
Facebook's a stretch.
Okay, I mean, like I figured
though.
it was going a bit more towards pertinent news, but maybe I'm wrong. But like I just immediately go to the source instead. I go to Google News, I go to Washington Post, I go to I go to Forbes, etc., and it's just like that is better, and I feel much better about it. I'm not just scrolling through shit. And then when I'm out of sources, maybe I'll read about something. I'll actually go to a wiki. I'll go to the Warframe wikis and be like, okay, so like this is what I kind of want to look at next. Like, let's see, what I can do to tinker with this, and yeah.
Basically, you're just soaking in tangible knowledge as opposed to fulfilling that craving with Twitter, which that's good though, because I mean our brains crave new information, which is kind of why we kind of obsessively and compulsively refresh Instagram and Twitter feeds just to be like, oh, what's this? I'm going to read this 140 character post, and it's still new information and often irrelevant. But no, I actually started following a ton of news sources a couple months ago on Twitter. That's kind of what got me really into Washington Post, and in fact, I have the Washington Post app on my phone, and still waiting for the subscription to end because it's a free subscription for like a month. But also, like, I got rid of it was called Post Grad Problems. It was just like a 20-something blog. People write about, certain experiences. And at some point, like, I started reading them, like, man, these guys just bitch about everything. There's always something to complain about. And I deleted it. And then I downloaded Washington Post. And I'm like, this is adulthood. This is...
It's not even about being adulthood, but it's kind of like disconnecting from the things that are just like complaining. And it's just like, no, I actually like pertinence. You can complain and be pertinent, but like when it is just complaining, like that is not good. Like be more pertinent.
Exactly. If you have something to complain about, at least have it of a important topic or something going, and not fucking politics though either, because there's enough of that already. But like
it's
about YouTube
it's
advertising.
The political season. It's unfortunate.
Yeah. But disconnected. It's not a bad way to go. Whether it's just removing yourself from social media or just being out in nature for 3 or 4 hours and leaving your phone off your body.
I really hate to say it. I do, because I'm sure there is someone with the perfect examples out there to prove me wrong. But I can't help but feel that social media is naturally a more immature thing.
I would agree with that, I think.
But I'm sure there's someone out there who could just show us, just like, no, actually, like it can be completely mature. It's just you have to handle it.
The aging depends what you do with it. Like Twitter, you can be completely immature on it and just troll everybody, or you can just like soak in information. I follow a lot of sports writers, news sources. That I would say that's not immature in any way. But if I'm getting on there and searching hashtags and trolling people for their beliefs, and that's immature. And same with with Facebook. People legitimately stay on Facebook to stay in contact with family members, old friends. But then of course you also get the toxic people that are like, I'm Republican. Here's my information. Believe me, you're wrong.
And it's not just limited to Republicans.
No, absolutely not.
No.
Like you get the same kind of liberal.
I want to be clear because political season.
Yeah.
So before we wrap up this, first Ramble segment, that's actually 2 halves. I also want to say, like, get out there and register to vote to anybody, because after this, I'm probably going to register online. Like, I've been filling out a form to changed my registration because I registered when I was, living in Columbus when I was in college, and I think
you are no longer a resident.
I'm just gonna do it online. Like I realized, when I printed off the form, I was just like, oh, there's online voting, but like I'll have to wait for that to be counted. But I'm just like, who cares? Like
you're not counting it.
Yeah, like I will have to waste gas to go somewhere when I'm already right here. Like so, and that's kind of another thing. Like because I've gotten so used to being disconnected and being happy right here, I have come to find that this right here is my favorite spot in the entire world. And that's kind of probably why I had trouble trying to work from here, because I actually did have a work from home job that was short-lived. And a lot of that was because I was still in a lot of pain. But the other side of that was because this is a happy place. You
literally blended your work and your play together.
It's like that person who's just like, oh, Paris is my favorite place in the world. It's just like trying to work there would probably hurt that a bit. And happily, I have my favorite spot in the entire world right here in my own home. And it's just like, that's cool.
Yeah.
So, anyway, let's go ahead and get into the second half of the ramble.
Yeah.